The last horse at the county auction, ribs visible beneath its mudcake coat. $50. Mason Carter called out, ignoring the wealthy buyer's laughter. But as he approached his purchase, the horse's eyes locked onto his. Behind that defeated gaze burned something impossible, the fire of $1 million champion. Mason guided the old horse into his weathered barn, the rain still drumming overhead under the flickering light. He began washing away years of neglect. His calloused hands moved methodically, revealing a coat that, despite its dullness, hinted at former glory. Then he saw it. As mud washed away from the horse's flank, a partial brand emerged, an intricate W with a crown. Mason's hands froze. He knew that symbol. Everyone in the racing world did. Westbrook Stables, home to champions and million-dollar thoroughbreds. Impossible, he whispered, but his trembling fingers were already reaching for the old racing catalog he kept in his office. 20 minutes later, surrounded by scattered papers, he found it. A photograph from 3 years ago. Thunderclap, Westbrook's rising star, projected Kentucky Derby favorite. The same distinctive blaze down the face. The same small notch in the left ear. But the horse in the photograph radiated power and pride, muscles gleaming, worth millions. Not this broken creature, worth pocket change. Mason's phone rang, startling him. Tom Sullivan, his old friend from his brief time working at racetracks. Mason, I heard you bought a horse at County today. Tom's voice was tense. Tell me it's not the one with the scar above its right hock. Mason's blood ran cold. He hadn't mentioned that detail to anyone. How did you? Lock your doors. Tom cut him off. I'm coming over. And Mason? Don't tell anyone else about that horse. Some people have been looking for him for a very long time. People who thought they'd buried their secrets with him. The line went dead. Outside. The rain had stopped, but a different kind of chill settled over Mason as he looked at Thunderclap. What had this horse seen? And what secrets was he bringing to Mason's quiet farm? Tom's truck skidded into Mason's driveway an hour later. His old friend looked haunted, constantly checking the rear-view mirror. Inside the barn, he circled Thunderclap slowly, cursing under his breath. 3 years ago, Thunderclap was worth $5 million, set to run the Kentucky Derby. Tom's voice shook. Night before the race, stable hand found him drugged. Not just performance enhancers. Enough tranquilizers to kill him. Someone tried to murder him? Mason whispered. Murder him? No. Tom laughed bitterly. They wanted to save him. Because Thunderclap saw something that night. Something that got James Miller killed. A woman's voice cut through the darkness. My father wasn't killed. He was murdered. They spun around. A figure emerged in the shadows. Sarah Miller, her press badge glinting. Dad was Westbrook's head groom. Night before the Derby, he called me, terrified, said he had proof of something bigger than race fixing. Next morning, they found his body. Accident, they said. She pulled out a flash drive. Dad mailed this to me. I've been too scared to look. But when I heard rumors about a horse with Thunderclap's markings, her hands trembled. Maybe now we can finally know the truth. Before Mason could respond, headlights swept across the barn. Tom's face went pale. Westbrook security. They must have followed me. He grabbed Sarah's arm. The back door. Now! Mason heard car doors slam, followed by the sound of boots on gravel. The secret that got James Miller killed was about to catch up with them all. Get on. Mason swung onto Thunderclap's bare back, pulling Sarah up behind him. Tom rushed to open the rear barn door. The old horse's muscles tensed, a forgotten power awakening. Heavy boots approached. Check the barn. A commanding voice echoed. Find that drive. Thunderclap exploded forward with a speed that defied his appearance. Sarah gasped, clinging to Mason as they burst into the rain-slicked night. Behind them, shouts erupted, followed by the crack of gunfire. The horse moved like lightning, weaving through the darkness with impossible precision. This wasn't just muscle memory. This was a return of a champion. Every stride spoke of races won, of victories earned. Headlights cut through the darkness as two black SUVs roared in pursuit. The ravine! Tom's voice crackled through Mason's cell. They can't follow through Miller's Gorge. Mason felt Sarah stiffen. That's suicide. The bridge is rotted. But Thunderclap was already turning, charging toward the ancient wooden bridge, spanning the deep gorge. The SUVs gained ground, more shots piercing the night. Then Mason saw it. Thunderclap's ears pricked forward, his stride changing. The same look from countless races, reading the track, calculating the distance. The champion wasn't running away. He was setting up for the jump of his life. Hold on, Mason shouted as Thunderclap gathered himself. The bridge's rotten planks exploded beneath them as the horse launched into space, sailing over the 30-foot gap in a perfect arc. They landed hard on the other side as the bridge collapsed behind them, taking their pursuer's path with it. In the distance, brakes screeched and men cursed. Sarah's hands trembled against Mason's back. "My God," she whispered. Dad was right. They didn't just try to kill him. They tried to kill a miracle. In Tom's remote cabin, Sarah's hand shook as she plugged in the flash drive. The video began playing. Security footage from Westbrook Stables, the night before the Derby. Her father appeared on screen, doing his nightly checks. Then he stopped, staring into Thunderclap's stall. The horse was agitated, pawing the ground. In the next stall, something moved. "Oh, God," Sarah whispered as the footage revealed Robert Westbrook himself, injecting something into their prize racehorse. Storm warning. The horse collapsed instantly. Insurance fraud, Tom explained grimly. Storm warning was favored to win, but he was injured. Instead of scratching, they planned to kill him, collect millions in insurance. But Dad caught them. Sarah's voice cracked. And Thunderclap witnessed everything. The footage continued. James confronting Westbrook. The argument. The fatal push that sent James crashing into the stable wall. Thunderclap's furious reaction, breaking his stall door, charging at Westbrook. They couldn't kill Thunderclap after that scene, Mason realized. Too suspicious. So they drugged him, sold him off quietly, made sure he'd never race again. Sarah stood, her face hard. "We have to take this to the FBI, not local police. Westbrook owns them. I have contacts at the Racing Commission." Thunderclap's warning whinny cut through the night. Headlights appeared on the cabin's dirt road. "They tracked my phone," Tom cursed, "but they're too late." He held up his phone, showing a sent email. Footages already going viral. Every racing authority, major news outlet. Mason's phone buzzed with breaking news. Westbrook stable scandal exposed. Murder, fraud, animal abuse. Outside, sirens wailed in the distance. But these weren't local police. They were federal agents, coming for the real criminals. The FBI raid on Westbrook Stables made national headlines. Agents uncovered not just James Miller's murder, but a decade-long pattern of insurance fraud and animal abuse. The flash drive revealed connections to corrupt racing officials and illegal gambling rings across 5 states. Robert Westbrook's arrest sent shockwaves through the racing industry. This isn't just about one stable, the FBI director announced. This investigation has exposed systemic corruption that we're now cleaning up. Dozens of officials resigned. New regulations were implemented overnight. Thunderclap's recovery became a symbol of hope. Under Mason and Sarah's care, the champion spirit returned. His comeback race raised millions for animal protection, and the newly established Miller Foundation began monitoring racing stables nationwide. "Every horse deserves what Thunderclap got," Mason told reporters. "A second chance." Sometimes, Mason reflected, the smallest acts of compassion create the biggest waves of change. A $50 bid at a rural auction had exposed corruption, brought justice, and transformed an industry. One simple choice had changed everything. Have you ever made a small decision that unexpectedly changed lives? Share your story in the comments below. Sometimes the biggest differences start with the smallest acts of kindness.